Hey everybody, welcome to Gabagool Men, your source for all things Italian cured meats. I'm Andrew DiMatteo. I'm joined by Richard Parisi.
Hey, what's going on, baby? Mwah, mwah, mwah. Italian stereotype, Italian stereotype.
Gabagool Men.
Gabagool Men.
Today we're doing Gabagool Men, boys and girls. It's been a rough morning for me. I've had a loss of humanity in myself.
Oh, you're freaking out.
I lost my mind today, dude. I lost my mind. But I'm glad we're here. We're going to talk about all things professional wrestling. So before you came, Rich, we were talking in the chat room, like, okay, what are we going to talk about and everything, right? Obviously, we're doing a big Q&A at the end of the show. Very much encourage you guys, get your questions ready and submit them in the chat at the end of the show. And we're going to do like a nice long Q&A segment because people really enjoy it. And I know a ton of people have a bunch of questions. As we're recording this, I believe PW Insider Mike Johnson reported that there are cuts coming. There are new cuts coming here
to the WWE.
To WWE. So I'm sure something will be announced by the time this gets posted, unfortunately, or by the time that, at the end of the show. But a lot to talk about, obviously, with All Out, NXT, what's going on in WWE. WWE Raw ratings, one of the worst. 1.75 million. The Thunderdome boost has ended for them. SmackDown did great. SmackDown had a great week. So I want to break down everything top to bottom. Obviously, I don't want to spend too much time on All Out. Discussing every match, but it is going to play a big part in today's conversation because what did you think of that show?
The All Out.
Like, did you I rewatched it the following day.
Okay. I'm still gonna go with our original rating. We did a 5.5 hour podcast live show on Saturday night. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Oh, the donations, dude.
That was fantastic. Thank you guys for we doubled our goal for the night in donations, and we want to keep that stuff going. So we're gonna be here whenever there's a pay-per-view, and we love it when you guys come and hang out and chat with us and be fun and stupid with us. It was a lot of fun. That being said, during the show we kind of called it as like a B-, C+. I'm sticking with that B- rating. Certain parts of the show didn't do it for me personally. I feel like it wasn't planned, obviously, but that Matt Hardy spot really took me out of it.
It sucked the energy out.
And
really.
Yeah, and then like you're kind of concerned for the guy, and like, oh man, what's going on? You kind of wanted to see what happened, and then like I feel like a lot of the Battle Royal, and I'm being hypercritical here because that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love everything regardless, but I think that Battle Royal, it was like a little bit of a cluster.
Convoluted. It was convoluted.
A little convoluted. I don't really get the rules too much, and I feel like the 4-man thing is a little weird. But again, company's been around less than a year. Hasn't been a
Trial
year.
And error.
Comparatively, like this was, I think this is not saying it was bad, but this was not their best pay-per-view. But that being said, still a million times better than anything WWE puts out.
Okay. So I agree with you on majority, like 90% of what you said.
Okay. Give me the 10%.
I'll give you the 10%. So I thought the pay-per-view came off not as a great showing of what they're capable of. Right?
Cool.
So the guys that fire on all cylinders, guess what? They fired on all cylinders.
Absolutely.
That tag match with FTR, with Hangman and Kenny, phenomenal. Great match. I mean, just unbelievable. Great storytelling. The MJF Moxley match, I really didn't appreciate watching it live.
It's better the second time around.
I watched it the following day, and I got to tell you, it was a really good match.
Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't good watching it because I think what happened, it was very late. It was very late. We were talking for 5 hours already at that point. I was done at a certain point in the show. I kind of checked out. I thought they could have cut a bunch of stuff. The Britt Baker stuff sucked. I did not care for it.
Really?
Watching back. And I actually liked it a little bit more watching it live. Didn't like that.
That was definitely a better live cinematic experience.
The Joey Janela match didn't have to be on the show.
Sure. That was like a Dynamite match.
Okay. Private Party had a match too, correct? Who had a match? Let me see. Out. Let me look at the card here before I say something that I'm wrong.
That is also smart. I should have done that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I thought you had it open. So Joey Janela defeated Serpentico.
It's not Serpentico. It's
Serpentico. Sorry.
Serpentico.
That match didn't have to happen. The Private Party match defeating the Dark Order, that didn't have to happen. So now you're 17 minutes in. The Big Swole Britt Baker match was 10 minutes even. the tooth and nail match. Again, convoluted. Didn't really care for it. I understood what they tried to do. Didn't work out for me. Whatever.
Decent show opener, though. I enjoyed
Decent,
it.
Yeah, I would take that as the opener. But now you're 27 minutes of content of wrestling that could have been done in 10 minutes. The Bucks and Jurassic Express match I really liked. Very good match.
Great match.
The Battle Royal was 22 minutes, and it was very convoluted. Lance Archer won, throwing out Eddie Kingston.
Not really eliminated.
Who?
Eddie Kingston.
No, not really eliminated.
And he cut that promo last night.
Very good promo.
Great promo saying, I was never eliminated.
Yeah.
That's my Eddie Kingston impression.
So at this point in the show, you're 5 matches in, with 2 pre-show matches, right? 5 matches in, I'm like, this is getting hard. They got to hit a home run here. And that home run was probably going to be the Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy match that fell apart. So now that was 9 minutes, so you cut that short.
Unfortunate, man.
Right? But again, that match got cut short, and that show went on till almost midnight.
Yes.
Like, guys, we got to trim this back. Like, one thing you could... I know it's trial and error, but the one thing people complain about is those crazy 5-hour WWE shows.
Right.
And AEW's justification here is that, well, we only put on 4 shows a year. 6 shows a year, 4 shows a year, whatever, with the specials, right? But... guys, let's pull back. It doesn't need to be do 3 hours, 50 minutes. You know, under 4 is fine. The Shida and Thunder Rosa match I really enjoyed. It was probably one of the best women's matches they've had on AEW. Probably the best.
I'll agree with definitely top 2 or 3.
Top 2 or 3, whatever it is, right?
Thunder Rosa, man, she's putting her belt on the line next week, I think, on Dynamite.
Yes, first time an NWA title has been defended on TNT.
Can't wait.
Ever.
Can't wait.
Which is fascinating if you think about it. Considering the NWA title was never defended on TNT ever. So now you also have the Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares, which was QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, with Allie and Brandy defeating the Dark Order. This match, 15 minutes. I understand they did this a continuous storyline, but did this match have to happen on the show?
I hate griping, but I think it definitely did further the storyline. I wouldn't have minded it if it was a 3-on-3 or a 2 or a
too
tag.
Too many guys already. We're seeing too many guys in the ring.
Like if it was Dustin and Cardona, but there's a reason for everybody to be in this match. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Then it was a match of the night, in my opinion. FTR. Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood with Tully Blanchard defeating Kenny Omega and Adam Page. The entire story of this match was that Kenny and Adam are on totally different pages here. Lack of a better term there. Sorry. So it did great with the storyline, and the ending was so good. You know, you saw Adam Page struggling and being apologetic and kind of feeling like he screwed things up. And Kenny, the best thing he did was not hit him and not embrace him and let him just collapse.
Oh, I really like that. Good.
Do
you think he would have drilled him with that table?
Yeah.
How much would that have hurt?
Oh my God! And he couldn't unwrap the plastic.
The dinner table.
Yeah. So
that was a good match.
It was a good match. Very good match. 29 minutes. And then you had a 15-minute match. Orange Cassidy defeated Chris Jericho in knocking him out in a vat of mimosa.
Honestly, that was a lot of fun.
15 minutes. It was a lot of fun, but was this a main event for the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not the main event. I'm so sorry. Jesus Christ.
Second main event.
Second main event. Second to last.
I think so. I think that we were talking on Saturday night where very Japanese stacked card where your last 3 matches.
Big matches.
Those are your big matches. Yeah. And I think the Orange Cassidy Jericho match was the peanut butter in that peanut butter sandwich. Peanut butter and jelly in that peanut butter sandwich between FTR and Mox and MJF, man. Like, I really enjoyed the last 3 matches, and they did a lot in the Mimosa match, and it went 15 minutes, and it felt like it was a 5-minute match.
Yeah, it was super quick. Yeah. That match felt really quick. And then Jon Moxley defeated MJF. So here's where, rewatching it, this match was way better. This was a great showing for MJF. He worked really hard in this match, which is fine. It was good. I just feel that the show went on too long. If it hadn't gone on this long, but maybe my reaction would have been better if the show ended at 11 instead of 11:35 or 11:45. Maybe my reaction would have been better. But however, would you say this was the worst AEW pay-per-view?
Out
of the pay-per-views, out of the only pay-per-views.
I would say this is like, again, at like a B minus, yes. But that's like, if there were like legitimately the only two complaints we had were the Battle Royal was a bit of a cluster F.
Yeah.
And unfortunately the
Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy injury kind of sucked the vibe because everybody was so concerned. It wasn't
so,
and let me just like put this out there. We're not saying that like, oh, this is bullshit. We're saying it as like, holy shit, this dude could really be hurt. And your thought process kind of makes you not want to watch anymore.
I get it. No,
right.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's happened in WWE a bunch of times. You know, something has happened and it's sucked the energy out, and it's kind of hard to, get back on that train.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say this was probably the least enjoyed AEW pay-per-view that I've watched, and probably the least enjoyed AEW show in a while.
Okay.
I from what I'm told, they're aware of a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm. So
let's slowly address some of this. So let's talk about the Matt Hardy injury. Okay. Matt Hardy went for a big spot off the top of a ladder. What was it, right? It was some sort of ladder.
It was the
scaffold.
The scaffold, and then he missed the table in the foreground, and it looked like he definitely smushed his head against the ground.
Yeah, so he went down, and he was supposed to fall. It was a forklift. Yeah. There you go. He was supposed to fall, and the table was gonna take the brunt of it, but his head missed the table. His body was on the table, and he slammed it on the cement. The story is that he was out for like a good 30 seconds. Ref did the X sign.
Audrey Edwards. She did a good job.
Audrey did the X sign after Tony Khan told her to do it in her earpiece. The doctor came to check on him. Matt wanted to continue. Matt said, he's fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. The doctor did some sort of quick test to determine if he's concussed badly or not. And the doctor felt that he could continue. Matt felt that he could continue. And he continued, and they just went to the main spot to end the match, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
They ended the match with the spot. So this is when hysteria broke out, right?
Absolutely.
Rebby Hardy went nuts on social media. And
that's her thing, though.
That's her thing. That's fine. Listen, big ups to Rebby, Queens girl.
Yeah.
Grew up in Flushing. Went to dance school with Dara. I don't know if you know that. I told you that.
You told me this, but who like they don't know who Dara is.
They have no idea. A friend of ours, Skinny Pig NYC, big time blogger. So she went nuts. Accused Tony Khan of lying because Tony Khan said that he did not have a concussion. Doctors deemed that he did not have a concussion. He was in the hospital. They did tests. Apparently, he didn't have a concussion, which is great. And then it brought in all these doctors on Twitter.
Yeah.
Everybody became a doctor and talked about
social media
concussions. Yeah, social media doctor, how concussions work. Guys, he went to the freaking hospital.
Right.
A doctor said he was fine. The doctor in the hospital said he was fine. I don't think Tony Khan is a liar.
No.
People like to rag on him, but now you're blaming this poor guy for something he didn't really do. He made the right call by calling the X.
Yes.
The doctor said he was fine, and Matt said he was fine. Listen, Matt's a grown adult.
Mm-hmm.
He's 40-something years old. He has a family. He can make a decision on his own if he's capable of competing or not.
He's done this before.
He's done this before. He knows what it feels like. If he was in serious danger, I don't believe he would have continued. He seems like a pretty rational person at this point in his life. So people lost their minds, and they're attacking Tony Khan. They're going nuts on him. The dude made a call. Whether you think it's a right call or bad call, you're not in his position to make that call.
Agreed.
You're not.
And here's the other thing, too, with the Tony Khan thing, which I feel like is very fascinating, where it's like, you're the golden boy until people think you're wrestling.
Until people think you're, well...
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
like, oh, he's just another corporate stooge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people don't like success, right? People don't like to see success in people.
No, they don't.
Vince gets a lot of criticism for stuff that it has nothing to do with him. Mm-hmm. Somebody messaged me. They go, "Oh my God, Vince McMahon is such a bad person." I said, "Well, what makes you say that?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're really blurring the reality. You know what they're blurring? Business person, right? How he conducts his business, how he is on camera. And what the hearsay is. That's what they're concluding. You don't know this guy. If he was such a bad person, it would be so much more stuff about him out there.
Oh, yeah.
And it really isn't much, other than he's you hear it in the shoot interviews. Out of all the people that you could put a point and say this guy's a bad guy, this guy has a pretty good reputation. And by the way, we're going to get into a lot of the bad with Vince with all those weird rules that they announced this week.
Yeah. Very bananas.
So I think listen, guys, pull back a little bit, right? Let's reserve our thoughts a little bit and make sure that what we're saying is truthful. I have no reason not to believe that he wasn't concussed. So last night he cut a promo, Matt Hardy, which was bizarre. It was a really weird promo. Yeah. And we joked about this, and it was almost like he was forced. It felt that it was forced.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I mean, we were making a joke about this, but he came out and he was like, everything's fine. I'm fine. The Tony's great. Everybody's great. The fans are great. My family, my beautiful wife. Look, don't piss her off. Don't piss my wife off.
She was in the audience.
She was in the audience. So I don't know, man. It's wrestling. People are going to get hurt. People are going to wrestle hurt. Ivar is apparently really badly hurt too.
Oh my God, yeah. Unfortunately, which sucks. And he was picking up momentum too with the whole with the turkey leg thing and that lady.
Yes, the turkey leg thing and the lady. So I don't know. We'll get into that. But AEW, I did not like this pay-per-view. I said that they had to hit a home run last night, which they did. I thought it was a pretty decent show last night. I didn't really have too much criticism, except for the weird Rusev debut.
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay.
Tell me why you didn't like it.
I didn't like it because I didn't understand the connection with Kip Sabian.
The early 2000s Eminem hair?
The Eminem hair bothers me. That's fine. But that's okay. I could get past that. But the Kip Sabian connection, that he asked him to be the best man. He said, I'm the best man. I guess that's going to be his thing. I didn't understand it. And then I felt that he was cutting a heel promo, but he wasn't.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Maybe he was just nervous.
Maybe a little bit, but this is where you start. Okay, I thought it was a good fired up promo, right?
Yes.
But the WWE way of refining things would have helped a little bit with it.
You think this is like his first unscripted promo?
I think it probably was the first time they said, "Okay, dude, go."
I think,
and he's very talented. This guy's gonna be great.
He's funny, dude. I think he did a good job, but I also think the language barrier. I understood
it. It is a language barrier. Yeah,
but I think the language barrier is like there needs to be that pause and comma. Like, I'm the best, man. Not I'm the like. I think that's what they were going for.
Interesting.
But I do like that whole bit. I really enjoyed. Kip Sabian could be a breakout.
He could.
We talk about this regularly when we're off the air. About like, how do you feel about that indie style being shown on TV, right? Because ideally you want these guys to be quote unquote TV ready and have that personality turned up to 1,000,000. I think Kip Sabian is well on his way, and he's had a couple of rocky starts in the company, right?
Which I find interesting. I think the thing with Janela fell apart, and I think it was less Kip, and I think it was more Joey Janela.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy that had so much momentum. Going into AEW, he's a great example of a guy that's gone reverse, which you have not really seen much in AEW, where a guy that was was getting up there slowly,
right,
and then all of a sudden he tanks. He just looks weird.
Joey Janela.
I feel like he doesn't. I'm not going to say what I think or what I heard. I'm not going to say what I heard because I heard from somebody else.
Okay. Can you tell me off the air?
Yeah.
Do you personally think if this dude was a little more shredded, he'd be more over?
I think if this dude...
I know it's a weird question because this is
I have an answer, and I spoke to someone that knows him well.
Okay. He's king of the indies. He was a king of the indies.
I don't want to disparage the guy because I think he's very talented, and I like his act.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I think his star is starting to dwindle a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I think this guy had moments, and there was, that match with Kenny Omega on After Dark, that was not just like, let's put a match. It was for a reason.
Well, the Mox match, too.
And the Mox match, too. It was for a reason, and something has happened. Just say that. I'll just say that. So,
okay, yeah, so Kip Sabian on the way up.
He was on the way up, and not anymore. Oh, Kip Sabian, yes. Yeah. I think... AEW's tactic is get these established guys to give the rub to some of these other guys, right? Like, that's the whole point. You want to grow guys like Orange Cassidy. They are investing a lot of time into this guy. And unfortunately for them, he's a big crowd act more than anything else. So that that Mimosa match would have been phenomenal with a live crowd, with Jericho and him feeding off the crowd.
Yes.
He doesn't have a crowd to feed off of, so what do you do with him? I think he's done really well. And he's an act that I don't really, it's not my deal, but
You say that all the time.
but I think he did a great job. It was the first time I saw him, and I was like, wow, I was impressed.
Now you get it.
Now, no, I don't like the gimmick. I
Okay.
get the gimmick. I don't like the gimmick.
Mhm.
But I don't know what else he could do. I think the gimmick suits him well.
Okay.
It's very complicated, this thing in my head right now about him.
Let's go back to the best man thing.
Okay, yeah.
So we were saying that bit I really, really enjoyed.
You did.
And just to compartmentalize that a little bit, Kip Sabian, a couple of rocky starts with the initial tag team, and then with the initial debut stuff, and then his original feuds, and then getting teamed with Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, and then Jimmy
Havoc getting bounced, and then but now he's with Penelope Ford, and they're getting married. That's legit. They're legitimately getting married. Fluffy was it Fluffy or Puffy?
Who?
The big dude that came out.
Fluffy?
I forgot his name.
I don't know.
It was like the big dude came out and he's like, "Nah, I said you're the best man."
Yeah.
And then
they made a Twitch. They made a Twitch joke.
Then Pillman came out and he was like, "No, I said you're the best man." And then Pillman left. And then an interesting debut for Miro coming out, cutting that promo, and people were chanting Miro Day, which is great.
Which was great.
I think that took him by surprise.
Yeah.
And then saying he's the best. I like him as the heavy in that group.
Are they going to be a group?
I think so.
I don't think so, man. I would keep him away. I would keep him on his own.
Okay.
They don't, I got to tell you, though, the way that they debut people is not great in the company. And I wonder if that has to do with the leadership deciding how they're going to debut, or too much of the talent having a say in how they're going to debut. Moxley was the best debut.
Yes,
100%. 100%. Everybody else that has debuted there kind of been lacklustered.
Lance was a good debut.
Lance Archer?
And so is Brody.
How did Lance Archer debut?
They did the promos of him coming, and then he came out, and I think he destroyed Marco Stunt.
Yes, he did destroy Marco. Yeah. But I can tell you, Matt Hardy's debut, not great.
I think it worked without the crowd. I feel like you have to take that into the equation, because if any one of these guys debuted with a crowd,
you're right.
Forget it. Roof off the place. Matt Cardona, good example. If there was a crowd there,
it would have been a big pop.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. The other thing, a lot of criticism coming in from fans that too many WWE guys in AEW. Up. You know what I said? Here's my answer to that, right? Okay. How many wrestlers exist in North America?
Exactly.
Like that are on TV level, right? That are TV level. If you're already if you're that good to be on AEW, TV, and you're established, right? I'm not talking about like the indie guys they're experimenting with.
Yeah.
Like Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Like this is an experiment to see how well they'll do. But if you're a wrestler and you worked at, it's like saying like, oh, I worked at Disney. Universal Studios hires too many Disney employees.
Right.
They've worked in amusement parks before. They know
good.
how to manage an amusement park, but we shouldn't hire them because they work at Disney. That doesn't make sense. There's nothing you could do. That's just how it is. And that argument that, like same thing, NXT is all Ring of Honor guys and indie guys.
Right.
You can't, I find that logic bizarre. Like, it's not about the guy. Like, where do you want them? You don't want them to work?
Exactly.
Where should they go work? Japan? Then they're going to say, oh, look, Japan is hiring all Impact. Impact did that, and everybody was complaining that Impact did that. Impact's problem was they didn't do it the right way.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Impact was emulating WWE. That's why it looked like they hired all these WWE guys. And at that time, if you think about it, who else were they going to hire?
Exactly, nobody. They weren't doing like the amazing ROH call-ups because they didn't know how to handle these guys.
Who?
Impact.
Impact, yeah, they would have no clue.
Because remember, like Punk had a shot there. A lot of people had shots. Moxley had a shot
2003, 2004, 2005, yeah.
A lot of people had shots there, and they just, at that time, it was like they didn't know what to do. I think it was like the whole Jarrett thing.
Well, here's a good example, right? They had Okada, right? Impact had Okada. And the big example is look how they portrayed Okada, the greatest wrestler, one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Impact had Sonata also.
And Sonata. Okada, and I was like, well, they like just speaks volumes. I'm like, they wouldn't know what to do with Okada.
Yeah.
First of all, there's a language barrier. They have no idea who this guy is. He's still new. You think they're going to prioritize a Japanese talent that's coming over on a trade agreement over their own guys.
I think they had Nakamura also.
They did have Nakamura, a couple appearances for Nakamura. Yeah,
it's very fascinating, but like, I agree with you 100%. Like, it's a small pond and a big ocean at the same time, right? Like,
there's only a handful of guys that you could hire.
Think about it this way too. Like, I feel like that's such a BS excuse as a fan to be like, oh, too many WWE guys. But when we were younger, did you not pop your ass off when dudes were showing up on Nitro?
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was great to see.
Somebody in
that back and forth.
I'm in a wrestling chat on Instagram, and somebody put the Virgil debut for the NWO.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, it's so weird that this guy was in the NWO, but obviously it's because anybody who had WWE in their past was brought on. You know, because you had DiBiase, you had Virgil, you had obviously like your top 5, and then like who was the one original guy that was never in, not original guy, but who was never in WWF? The Giant.
Yeah.
Right.
And he ended up going there.
You know, Dusty at some point.
Dusty was in WWE.
Later
on. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, you got to look at it as these are the top tier guys. You know, like FTR. I think FTR is going to have this unbelievable career in this company.
Yeah.
Because they're so good. They're really good. And they're a great representation of tag team wrestling. Okay, that's what you put the title on. Brody Lee is doing one of the probably the best work of his career in the last couple of weeks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he's so good.
How do you feel about WWE guys holding all the major titles?
So that's a good question. I don't look at it that way. I don't see these guys as WWE guys. I see these guys as
wrestlers.
Exactly. So Brody Lee had a tremendous career on the independents before going to WWE. You know, and they did nothing with him. It's not even like he was like a really high-level WWE guy that's coming in and just grabbing the title off of you. He's starting over. He's reinventing himself.
So here's another point to add to your point.
By the way, mass WWE releases are underway right now.
Unfortunate. Yeah. Here's another point to add to piggyback on what you're saying. There's a reason for that. And the reason is that WWE guys who are there now are helping the entire undercard.
Yeah.
Because they know how to if it's one thing WWE teaches you, it's how to work the camera and work to the last guy in the back.
Yeah.
Right? They teach you how to work to that last person sitting in the nosebleeds. And I think that's what a lot of these guys lack. If you're going from wrestling in front of 25 people, you can see every single person in the audience. Right? But then you wrestle 10,000 in front of 10,000 people.
Very different.
You know, you can hardly see the person in the back, and that's the person you have to wrestle for. Just like, you know, if you're in a band and you're playing a giant show, you got to sing for that last guy in the back so he can so he can hear you, you know? And I think it's a good move on their part. FTR with the belts, that might be top 3 favorite
title holders.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great. Listen, I think that's a right move. You know, you want to talk about like Jericho holding the title, an old guy holding the title. Jericho had to hold that title.
Oh, absolutely.
It really established him. I don't think people realize how much that assisted in creating the brand.
100%.
You know, we constantly think about what we want. You know, you ask a wrestling fan who should have the world title in WWE, they're going to tell you everybody except for Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and the guys that they want to pick. Exactly. They're going to tell you
Cesaro.
AJ Styles. They're going to tell you Cesaro should hold the title. Nakamura should hold the title. That's fine for us.
Absolutely.
Like, I would love to see that. But who's going to bring in that casual fan? Who's going to bring in the disenfranchised fan? I don't know if it's Roman Reigns. I think this version of Roman Reigns may help a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's very different and it's doing something just fist pumping. So, you know, we'll talk about WWE also. But, you know, overall, I thought the pay-per-view sucked for AEW. I thought the show was good. I thought the show was really good. I enjoyed the show this week. Good showing for Brody Lee murdering Dustin.
Oh, my God, yeah.
In the end. But listen, that's, you know, they're building a monster. And they're building that match with Cody again.
A lot of good monster potential on that roster.
Big guys, a lot of big guys.
Big, thick MFers. Here's the other thing too. Like, I kind of want to touch on this really quick. I'm sure I don't think it's in the notes, but like, speaking of Jericho with the title, right? The thing I really like about AEW is that their long-term storytelling is completely in effect, and I think that's why this pay-per-view
went the way it did.
Went the way it did because they furthered all the stories, and that's what you should do. They're not dropping shit left and right. You know, they're continuing this stuff. The Mox Archer thing is going to be awesome because of their history in Japan, and I think these guys are going to tear each other apart.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. At some point, Jericho's going to get that title back, and that's when you see Jericho turn face and Inner Circle breaking up. Because that, in and of itself, is Jericho versus Sammy, Jericho versus Jack, Jericho versus Ortiz and Santana at some point. You know, they're going to build those guys up, and I think it's, when you think about the future like that, that's when it gets really cool, you know?
Gerald Briscoe has been released.
That sucks. Who stooged him off?
Who stooged Gerald off? So, listen, man, I think Jericho is interesting. But I got to tell you, though, the bumps that Jericho's taking old man bumps.
Just like kind of plopping down.
He's very stiff. And you know who would do this? Hogan would do this, right? Like,
yes.
when he would hit him and he would bump, he would look like an actual... He would look like a man falling, like actually getting hit, because he's so dense. And Jericho has that. Like, when Jericho's bumping, it looks like it's hurting him. He's bumping like a little bit sideways. Have you seen that?
Yes.
It's not like a flat back. He's doing, you know, he's doing like somebody said the life alert bumps.
You know what? He's earned it.
Listen, dude, the guy is still, I thought it was fun. I love seeing him out there. I love this version of Chris Jericho. I love this, you know, out of his prime Chris Jericho, which is great. NXT ratings, by the way, 838,000. It was delayed for Tuesday. Listen, man, Tuesdays, they got to stay on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's good. That show was pretty good, too.
It was, okay. Let's talk about that. Mistake putting that match in the first match?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell me why.
I really, I'm going to be 100% honest here. Here is what my thoughts are.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that I'm saying this right now. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I turned the TV on. I had a very nice long day that day. And I was telling my wife, oh, yeah, Finn Balor versus Adam Cole is going to be the main event tonight. But unfortunately, I got to sit through an hour of whatever else they put on.
Yeah.
Yo, that thing being on first, I was like, ooh. As soon as it ended, I was like, that's amazing, awesome, too sweet, blah, 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 blah. Was like, yo, I'm glad they got that out of the way. I could kind of watch the rest of this if I wanted to. Well,
it seemed like, you know, the finish was changed. Yes. Anthony in our chat room is kind of backing me on that. The finish was changed from what it was originally going to be. Originally, the finish was going to come last week, where it was going to be a run-in finish or something would happen post-match in overtime. There was some sort of run-in finish.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe they're going to separate and do it for the main event, and that's what you close the match with. But they decided to put the Rhea Ripley match at the end because it was a cage match, right?
Uh-huh.
So they moved it. I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but, you know, the ratings were actually down from last week, and I probably that's attributed to people watching the main event and leaving.
Right.
They saw the major title change, and they left. They weren't going to stick around. This isn't Saturday night's main event. By the way, that was the first match that went on. Do you remember that? The main event was the first match that went on.
Yeah.
And then you continued the storyline after.
Which was cool.
Which was cool. But you know what, dude? It kind of worked for them then. The highest rated wreshling match of all time is one of the highest rated primetime shows of all time. And that's Saturday night's main event between Andre and Hogan. Like 38 million people watched.
Andre and Hogan.
It's also Andre and Hogan. So, okay, I don't know. I guess that's what they did. I thought it was a good show. NXT
good,
on Tuesdays has to be where they go. Cause you know what? I love watching NXT on Tuesday. I hate doing the back and forth, watching it live, because then you know what happens? I don't see either show, and I got to rewatch both the following day. So it doesn't really work for me. So
just you specifically, it doesn't work for me.
Well, I can tell you, I know that USA would like them to move, and WWE is very much. I don't know how much against it they are now,
because they like sticking to their guns.
They want, because then that's them losing.
Exactly.
They don't want to.
By the way,
delicious.
Yeah,
so good.
Cool.
You want it?
No, I have some.
Want me to pour it on me?
Do you want me to? You want me to pour that coffee on you?
Yeah. So Tuesdays works a lot better, but we'll see what happens with that if they're going to change. Listen, man, you know what's going to be interesting when they go back to the regular schedule, and let's see what their ratings are then. Because now you've trained people that they want to watch on a Tuesday, and your ratings are 200,000 less than this on Wednesday, competing with AEW. And AEW's numbers have not shifted really. 100,000 more views That's about it. It's not like they're getting this blockbuster, all these people. It just shows you that the pool that you're using is about $1 million, less than $1.5 million.
But it's consistent.
But it's consistent. You got about $1.5 million, very consistent. It's the TNA thing. We know that 1 million people will watch wrestling consistently, no matter what day it is.
I got a question for you. Okay, so not to go off on too far of a tangent, but it has to do with eyes on the product.
Yeah.
Did you watch AEW in its entirety?
Yeah.
Did you see the promo at the end with Cody?
Yeah, so I had the volume low for that.
Okay.
What did he say exactly?
So there's a new show on TBS called Go Big.
Okay.
And it's like a America's Got Talent, except it's judged by Rosario Dawson and it's hosted by Bert Kreischer. I forgot how to say his name. And it's a competition show, and Cody's one of the judges. Now, this is on TBS, which is also the reason why Cody's been away from TV, because clearly he was taping this, right? I was watching this with Vicky, and Vicky's like, I wonder why Cody's there. I'm like, yo, Cody is on every single TNT poster for the most part. It's NBA and AEW now.
Interesting.
And they're really putting his face out there.
Yeah.
When you go to Spectrum On Demand, it's him putting, I think, Dustin in a sharpshooter. Right? It's like that's the promo poster. I think him,
yes, that is. Yeah.
Right. I think him being on that show will bring more eyes to the product by default, because people are going to be like, oh, this guy's great, who is he? And then I'm sure he'll promo the AEW wrestling stuff, and then probably bring out AEW guys on that show. And that's the other Turner network.
Yeah.
The TBS. So I think that's kind of fascinating too. And I think you're going to get a bump in views because of that.
We'll see. I think so. I'm hopeful that these crossovers are going to be a big positive for them, and I think Cody's a good ambassador for the brand. Really, the big story for the AEW is the Kenny Omega going back to a singles run. He did an interview with Jim Ross, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
The way he was very normal. He didn't cut a wrestling promo. He's like, listen, a lot of people said that I wasted a year doing this, and they wanted this big singles run, but I felt that this is what I had to do. I felt that this is the right thing to do. I needed to do this. I need to be a tag guy, and now I'm done with it, and now I'm a singles guy. Great job at that. We'll see how he comes out in this. But I thought, that program with him and Hangman is going to be interesting to see where they go with this. Hangman being the ultimate babyface makes me think that he's going to turn.
I think we're getting the cleaner.
I hope so. I hope so.
Heel Bucks and the cleaner.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think you're getting...
Who did the Bucks beat up? The Bucks beat the crap out of Alex Marvez, right? Yeah, they just beat the shit out of him.
I do think we're getting that Bucks heel turn. I think as far as Hangman goes, I think they're going like an interesting Steve Austin route where he can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And he's gonna what the hell just happened? Something just got really bright.
Nothing happened.
Oh man, where am I? I think they're gonna go an interesting route where he's the loner good guy.
Yeah.
Because you can't when the crowds come back, you're gonna want to cheer for Hangman.
Yeah. It depends. Let's see.
Kenny plays a good heel.
I would say keep them away for a little bit.
Just separate the elite.
Separate them a little bit, and then have them reconnect. By the way, can you pull up the G1 card?
Oh, yes.
The blocks. So we'll talk about that. I do want to talk about Roman Reigns. We spoke a little bit over the weekend for the pay-per-view that we watched, but I do want to talk about what they're doing with him. Big rating for SmackDown. They did phenomenal for SmackDown with Roman. He is a heel. It looks like this is the build, in my opinion, for a big Rock feud, just in case.
Absolutely.
So he's going to be facing Jey Uso at Night of Champions, right? Night of Champions? Clash of Champions?
Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions. What do you think is going to happen here?
He's going to keep going with the My Island stuff. Like, this is my island. I think he's going to murder the Uso.
Okay. And then does the other Uso show up?
I think the other Uso shows up and he murders that Uso. I think Rikishi shows up, he murders Rikishi. I think I think they're going to do the Randy Orton thing, except instead of being a legend killer,
he's just killing all the Samoans.
He's going to be a Samoa killer.
Yeah.
And eventually he's going to draw the ire of The Rock. And
what if you have Samoa Joe and him in a feud again? Joe's the face and he's the heel.
I would love that.
Joe versus Joe. Samoan Joe versus Joe the Samoan.
Joe the Samoan. I would love that. But it seems like Joe's going to be on commentary for a bit. Let him heal up.
Let him heal up.
Let him heal up. Let him wait out his contract, and then have him debut as another best
Dude,
man.
I love what they're doing with Roman. I like that he's like arrogant. You know, playing a heel is a lot easier than playing a babyface because you could be an asshole very easily. It's very difficult to be a good guy and have everybody like you. But it's very easy to get everybody to boo you if you do something that makes you dickish. I think for Roman, people have wanted to boo him. I think what's going to happen, to be honest, is the opposite. People are going to start cheering him now that he's a heel.
Cool heel, dude.
He could be a really cool heel. Look at his lips. Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
He
looks great,
look
too.
Look at his hair. He looks phenomenal. I just want to see him without a shirt on. Paul Heyman being his mouthpiece is great. This is definitely going to lead into more. And if they do everything right, man, this could be a blockbuster match with him and The Rock in front of a live audience. You know, you want to sell that first live audience. They're going to wait. They're going to wait for the first like big mega show.
Yes.
Now, forget about 10,000 people, 5,000 people, 3,000 people. You're talking about a mega show. You're going to have The Rock there. There's going to be apprehension on the customer's part as to, do I want to be in a crowd? Do I want to be with 30,000 people? You know, we're not talking about 60, 70,000. Do I want to be with 20,000? Do I want to be in front of 15,000? There's going to be a lot of apprehension there, especially with the audience. So how do you get that? How do you combat that if you're WWE and you're now in April next year?
Right.
You combat that with saying, hey, guys, The Rock and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You also don't need to be in a stadium. If you're not going to do 60, 70,000 people, why not run the Garden in March?
Exactly.
Now you can run the Garden. The Garden gets WrestleMania again. They are going to run Tampa, from what I was told.
Okay.
They're running Tampa. I'm just giving an example, right? But they're going to do Tampa. LA is next year, and we'll be back to that by 2022, God willing. But you want to get a big blockbuster return of your product with an audience, you do Rock and Roman.
100%.
You give them this match. You do the passing of the torch thing. You do that reversed Hogan Rock thing. It's very easy.
I would like them to work that same match.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with that build. I think The Rock needs to come in strong and give him a couple of matches before him showing up. Yeah. Just to main event.
By the way, we're not talking about like the next 2 months. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Rumble, possibly WrestleMania, most likely, because that would be the match of WrestleMania. You're giving everybody time.
Does Rock win the Rumble?
No, I wouldn't have him win the Rumble.
No?
That would be ridiculous.
I like it.
I like it too, but that's ridiculous.
All of a sudden, number 29, you hear it.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? He runs in, just clotheslines everybody out.
And he's so much bigger than everybody on the planet at this point.
Yeah.
He looks like Nappa from Dragon Ball.
He does look like Nappa from Dragon
Ball. So I got the G1 card. You ready to talk about that?
And New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax
30. The
G1 Climax 30 is happening, and this is a tremendous roster of people in this. So let's run through it.
All right. So this is starting September 19th at the Edion Arena in Osaka. And keep in mind, because of COVID and the cancellation of the Olympics in Japan this year, like, we're getting a late G1, but it seems like we're going to get like minimal crowds, right? A block. You ready? A block. Kota Ibushi, Jeff Cobb, Okada, Ishii, Ospreay, Takagi, Suzuki, Taichi, Jay White, and Takahashi.
Okay, great.
A block.
Yeah.
B block. Tanahashi, Juice, Goto, Toru Yano. He always makes it in. Yoshihashi, Naito, Sonata, Zack Jr., Kenta, and Evil.
Yeah, this is great. Who do you think takes it?
Dude, I'm going to go Kota Ibushi or, honestly, Okada.
Who won it last year?
Naito.
Naito won it last year.
I think so. No, Ibushi won last year. Wait.
I think it was Ibushi.
It was one of them. Who won? I think it was Ibushi. Because Ibushi had the briefcase, right?
Let's see. 29. G1 Climax. Let's see. I'll tell you right now. I hate how Wikipedia does this.
Yeah.
Lost. Yeah, this is successfully defended and criticized.
Kota Ibushi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate how they do this here. I can't tell.
I know. I had to, while you were talking, I had to search for like a proper
showing all
website.
The points and everything. Everybody gets total points and total wins.
So this is a point-based tournament system with 2 brackets.
Okay, here we go. Got it. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Kota Ibushi. Year before that, Tanahashi. Naito. Year before that. Omega. The year before that. Tanahashi. Okada. I'm going backwards. 2013 Naito. Okada. My God, it's the same guys.
We've talked about this in the last few years. New Japan keeps that Wrestle Kingdom main event floating between the same six
Three or
dudes.
yeah.
In the last few years, it's been Jericho, Okada, Tanahashi, Ibushi, Omega. I want to say your A block final is gonna come down to either Okada Jay White or Ibushi Okada.
Maybe Switchblade wins.
That'd be amazing.
Maybe he wins.
He needs it, man. He needs that belt back. Why do you think they took the belt off Evil so soon? How crazy is that? He had the belt for like a month, right?
It was always the plan, I believe.
Okay.
I think that was always somewhat of the plan. Because they moved it. Yeah, because it was just a flip-flop. That's all they did. Huh. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question.
And Evil's not in the G1. Oh no, he is. I'm sorry. He's right there. He's right under Kenta. How do you feel about B block? Who do you think is going to take B block?
Let me look at the list again. Name me the B block again.
Tana.
Okay.
Juice. Goto. Yano. Yoshihashi. Naito. Sonata. Zack Jr. Kenta and Evil.
Naito. No, Evil. I'm gonna go with Evil.
I'm gonna go with Kenta. I think your B block final is gonna be Tanahashi versus Kenta.
Dude, I would love that.
Right?
That's a great. Yeah, that's great.
Kenta's the man, and I do like this version of Bullet Club. People have for years said Bullet Club is dead, but listen, now that the travel ban is starting to get lifted, Jay White, Kenta, Evil, like those are three solid dudes in the Bullet Club.
Dude, Corey in our chat room goes Ospreay Evil for the finals. Love that.
Ooh, wow,
I would love that.
Do you think they're gonna pull the trigger on Ospreay?
It's time for him. I know that was a plan for him pre-COVID. He was bulking up. He was going into the heavyweight division. He's very talented. I think he could do really well. But I know that certain other people have their eyeballs on him right now too. All right, you want to do Q&A?
Let's do it.
Let's do our Q&A. Guys, boys and girls, submit your questions in the chat room. We're going to do our best to answer them here. Fire them away, and we'll go through it. Is there anything else that you saw that you liked this week?
A whole lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, I think Raw was men's and men's. It was okay.
Holiday.
I think it's interesting what they're doing with Kevin Owens and Aleister Black, and now Kevin Owens is calling out Dabakoto.
Okay.
With a fiery promo. You know, like, how do you feel about that?
I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you like him?
With Dabakoto?
Yeah.
He's fine. I mean, like, I think Raw Underground is a vehicle for...
He's the guy right now.
Right.
Them.
It's a vehicle for, I think, the Horsewomen, Dabakoto, and the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business is by far my favorite part of Raw.
Well, it's their biggest act right now.
Yes,
right?
And they got Cedric now.
And they got Cedric. Yeah, that was the other thing. So Cedric finally went over, which a lot of people were talking about. Cedric went over there, which I'm cool with. I think it's a cool stable, and you're giving these guys a lot of airtime where they normally wouldn't get. So they're trying something different, and I'm cool with that. You know, try something different. All right.
Questions? Question
time, boys and girls. Submit your question in the chat.
Chances Tessa Blanchard is the SmackDown Mystery Woman?
Not yet. No. It's not Tessa.
It's kind of funny how, like, you're getting almost parallel things where on SmackDown, all you see is, like, high heels walking.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm thinking it's Mandy Rose. But and then on Dynamite, you get, like, Brandy's, like, heels thing, which is also a lady in heels walking.
What the hell is that?
What?
Is that the door?
I think it's an earthquake.
Hang on.
All right, guys. I'm going to take some questions. Guys. Send me your questions. I think Andrew's gone. I think he left. I think Andrew pulled I'm going to the store to get some milk.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Oh, you didn't leave your family.
Well, I'm here banging, and I wanted to see who's outside.
Should I reiterate what I just said?
No, I heard you.
What did I say?
Go ahead.
Yes. So on SmackDown, you're getting, like, this lady walking across the screen.
Yes, yeah.
It's a mystery woman, right? On Dynamite, you're getting Brandy's heels thing also, which is her walking across the screen.
I know.
So it's kind of weird. I think it's going to be Mandy.
You think it's Mandy?
Or
no, I think it's either Chelsea Green or the other one.
Eva Marie?
No, not Eva Marie.
She might be returning.
She might be returning. I don't think it's Tessa Blanchard.
Okay. What do you do to make a better... Well, sorry. This is from Mike. What would you do to make the Retribution angle better?
You need... Well... It's going to get better if they debut and you see that some of these guys are guys you want to see.
Okay.
If you're having... What happens is that they do these angles, right? And because of the way that the internet is, the expectation is going to be CM Punk. It's going to be, these big names, and you're not going to get that. What you think in your head is not the reality of how that company processes things.
There's no reveals.
There's no, CM Punk wouldn't need this to return with.
Exactly.
Right? So this is how they see it, okay? So now here's your idea. Let's say CM Punk is returning. Let's just give that as an example. Bad example. Let's say they agree that CM Punk is going to return. Why would they slap this gimmick on CM Punk?
Exactly.
When, if this angle is a hot angle, you could elevate somebody else.
Exactly.
You don't need it. I'm not telling you this is the right way to do it. I'm saying this is how they think. So CM Punk would debut in a very different capacity compared to doing it the way that everybody thinks. CM Punk doesn't need to do a weird alliance of angry people.
No.
It looks like it's going to be a lot of NXT guys coming up that they haven't gotten their chance, and they've been in NXT for X amount of years, and they've been working this. Listen, it's the Nexus. If that's what they're doing, that's the Nexus storyline, and we saw how that went.
Mojo.
Is it Mojo Riley? Yuck.
You don't like Mojo?
No, yuck. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what they could do. It could turn out great. It could turn out shitty. Depends on who the guys are and how believable they are in this role. If you told me that, if you laid out the Shield gimmick, right, and you made it a mystery as to who these guys are, which they did, remember?
Yeah.
They were jumping people, black and white. You couldn't see them. You couldn't see their face. They were wearing masks. They were doing this. It just so happened that act worked. You got three guys in there that were great and believable. They were believable in that role. You could have had another three guys, and that could have been a biggest flop ever. It just really comes down to the guys.
Well, also, if you think about it this way, and we say this all the effing time because we're big Shield marks, that was supposed to be a vehicle for Roman. But I think they didn't know the byproduct of getting every single dude in that faction completely effing over.
They got them all over.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And that's the magic of WWE. When they really when they're firing on all cylinders, they are.
Absolutely.
And the Shield is a great example of an act, but again, that was 2013.
Oh my God.
That's a long time ago.
You know what my favorite story
7
is
years.
from their debut that they all tell is that they were trying not to let people get into their heads about their debut.
Oh, really?
And they were like, we agreed. I think Mox told this, and I think Seth told this. They were like, we agreed that we were just going to go out there and potato every single person that was in the ring. Yeah. And he was like, and we did, and we didn't catch shit for it, and we just kept doing the same thing every week.
Believable.
They
came out great. They came out great.
And a potato is when you hit somebody really hard.
With a potato.
With a potato.
You just throw potatoes.
You got potatoed on the subway.
I did, by an old Persian man. I'm still suffering to this day. Dude, I think that's how COVID happened, man. Honestly, I think that fucking guy gave me the potato. I became patient zero, and I just spread it to everybody else.
You got potato flashbacks?
Yeah, all the time.
To piggyback on the Retribution thing, Anthony asks, so Mercedes is Retribution bound, right? That makes sense.
I don't know who's in anything.
Right.
And they nothing is in stone yet. They have some ideas, but we've seen what they've done. They've done this before with a masked person, and it was supposed to be somebody, and they pulled it at the last minute.
Or DDP.
Imagine it's DDP
so good.
The whole time.
Jagor492 writes, with Thunder Rosa appearing on Dynamite again, do we see Nick Aldis appear at some point?
I would
say
maybe
a third match against Cody. Absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the relationship is really good with them.
Needs a crowd.
It definitely needs a crowd. And why would you waste, Nick Aldis, your NWA champion in front of nobody? So we'll see. Little by little, they're adding more people to that crowd. So I would love to see him in a match again.
Solus asks, you might get this a lot, but who becomes AEW's Hulk Hogan? I know you love your Hogan talks for booking, LOL.
Oh, who becomes their Hulk Hogan?
That LOL stands for Lariat or Lariat?
Lariat over Lariat? I don't know, man. I don't know who becomes their Hulk Hogan.
Brody.
I don't think you can. I think it's just a different world. Hulk Hogan, as far as like this cartoon of a character, I don't know.
If Brody hit the gym more and got really wide,
no, because
he's
big.
Not.
Here was the thing though. Brody's a big guy. He looks scary,
6'8".
right? Hulk Hogan did not look scary. Hulk Hogan looked like he worked. I mean, this is the reality though, right? He was a big blonde dude. He looked like he could be your dad. He looked like he Hogan was just Hogan. I don't think we'll ever get another Hogan. We'll never get another Rock. We'll maybe get another Austin.
Mm-hmm.
But these are very special characters and people. So I don't know if AEW could manifest that, but definitely not going to be Joey Janela. You know?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a big dude with a big personality. I think Brody body wise, man, if this guy really dedicated his time to get really effing buff, it's Brody. That guy's got such a great personality.
So Anthony brings up something interesting about AJ Styles. Last night, I saw this quote going around about how AJ was talking about retiring and to watch on Friday, and he's planning on retiring. And I saw a bunch of people write about this. So what I did, I took the quote and I put it in the service that I use to schedule posts.
Yeah.
Right. So before I do the research, sometimes I'll take a post and I'll put it there so I don't forget it. And I started researching it. And before I was done researching it, it's sent because it was scheduled to send.
Okay.
So I deleted it as soon as I saw it. But I have yet to clarify on if AJ Styles said, he's looking to retire soon or what. So I deleted it and I'll look into it today. Apparently he had said this on his Twitch stream. I can't find it, so I'm saying it's BS.
Okay.
Until I find it. When I find it, okay, it happened.
It won't be BS. It'll be what's the opposite of BS?
Great shit.
Great shit. Batcher 3000. Do you like Cedric joining the Hurt Business? Yes.
Yes, I like it a lot.
Large 23. What do you think about the third party controversy?
Okay. So WWE's backpedaled on that a little bit.
Yes.
I think we spoke about this a little bit, but I know a little bit about independent contractors because of the business I'm in. And you got to be very careful, especially now, because California, a lot of these companies have lost their right to do independent contractors.
Right.
That's the whole issue with Uber and Lyft. The state is saying that no, these are employees, and Uber's saying no, they're not employees. What kind of employee do you know that makes their own schedule up and they can work and not work whenever they feel like it? They're independent contractors. So I think the argument for Uber is valid. I think it gets a little bit murky when you talk about the WWE. These guys are not independent contractors by the term of what an independent contractor is.
Right.
Right? WWE has had this issue many times in the past, and because of the state that they're in, they have been able to get past a lot of the questions as to, okay, so you're telling me they work for you exclusively. They can't work on for another wrestling company. Now you're telling us that they're not allowed to do any extra work to make more money in this economy. I get that you own their right? You own the name Roman Reigns, but you're also saying that you owe their likeness, their own likeness, their real names for the time period of the contract, which it is in the contract. They own. It's a little murky. Should these guys be able to be on Twitch and say whatever they want? No, I don't. I don't blame WWE for doing that. WWE likes to control their talent. They feel that by these guys being out there as much, it's hurting the image of the story that they're telling. Wrestling is very different. It's not like any other industry. It's not like the movie business. It's not like, imagine if dude, you know what it's like? It's Hugh Jackman, right? Hugh Jackman was Wolverine.
Yes.
If Hugh Jackman played Wolverine every day, right? Every 4 days a week, he played Wolverine. And that was his main role. And now you start seeing him singing with his Australian accent. Sure. Does that take you out of the role that this guy's a badass as Wolverine?
I mean, I know better.
But I'm saying, does it do that? Yeah, I'm sure it does.
But also, I think that's very different than I think that's a contractual thing. Like you said, they were trying to backpedal on what they said, but I think this is a contractual thing that should have happened.
Yes.
A while, pre all this, how Marvel and Disney have disparagement clauses where you can't talk ill of the company as long as you're under contract.
WWE has that as well.
But I think this is very limiting, but also very opening. And I think AJ addressed how the usage of his name is perpetuated by WWE. He was like, I own AJ Styles. I lease it to them.
Yeah, he leases it to them.
And then he was like, I don't care. I'll do Styles Clash or I'll be Alan Jones. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to do this.
Yeah.
You know? Because they're not doing anything wrong. But I think, like you said last week, I think it's a whole thing where, holy shit, these people are making all this money and we're not getting a piece of this pie.
Yeah.
That's the bottom
what it is.
line.
But by the way, let me just get back to the Hugh Jackman thing, right?
Sure. You still upset about that?
No, I'm going to tell you. So, but you know what the difference is? when you watch Marvel, right? They're telling you at the end of the show, oh, it's Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine.
Sure.
It's a movie. They present it as if it's a movie.
Sure.
WWE doesn't do that. WWE doesn't say like, hey guys, these are real people. You know, AJ Styles, yeah, he's a wrestler. That's his job, but he's not really AJ Styles. Like, it's too murky. It's very murky. I equate it to a basketball player, right? If a basketball player signs a deal with Nike, and now the NBA says, no, sorry, you can't do that. You know why they don't say that? Because they're employees. They have a union. They can't not say that.
Right.
So they got to get very careful with this. I think the days of the independent contractor for WWE, it's slowly going away. But with that said, you know what's going to happen? Their pay's going to get cut.
Yeah.
Because the company's not going to want to make less money.
Right.
They want to make more money. So they're going to cut their pay by like 20%. Everybody makes less money, but now you have your benefits. So are they going to opt in for this? I would say the wrestlers won't, because it's a very short career.
Right.
These guys, majority of the time, these guys are not wrestling for 25 years.
It's rare that you have a long time on top.
It's very rare. It's a very short career, and they want to make as much money as possible.
But you have guys like Dolph Ziggler, I think, who...
Anomaly. He's an anomaly.
Career guys who make a good chunk of change, right? The guys like Roman also, like, he's been on top for what, like 5 years already? Kinda.
Roman, yeah, he's been top. He's been a top guy since he debuted. Yeah,
Seth,
six,
pretty
7
much.
years.
You know, it's very interesting when you kind of look at those numbers. The Rusev thing, it's kind of topical, but I think last month he had an interview where he said he confronted Vince about his merchandise sales.
Who said this?
Rusev.
Yeah,
and his T-shirts were sold out, and Vince basically said, "Well, maybe we didn't make enough."
Yeah, because you know what though. Listen, you know how many other people walk into Vince's office and say the same thing? You know, like, you got to think about it. I'm not saying he's right in this. I actually think it's they need to come up with a solution. If these guys they have a platform, they're making money. You know, if WWE could assist with them on that, then that's fine. But now they've kind of backpedaled on this, where they're saying, well, no, they could still do Twitch, they could still do this, they could still. You know what they want to do? They want to say, you know what, AJ, you could go do it, but Lana, I don't want you doing a soda deal.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
It's hard. You can't do one. You can't say yes to one and not to another one. But the reality is that's how life is.
Right.
I let my employees, some of them, get away with murder because they give me great results at the end of the week, and other ones I bust their balls because they don't do shit.
Right.
Or I don't like them. Sometimes you just don't like the person.
Right.
They're contributing, but you just don't like them.
You just don't care.
You just don't care. I think that's the reality of it.
That is the reality of it too.
Sometimes people mesh and sometimes they don't. And again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying these are things that happen in every work environment. There's nothing special about WWE when it comes to this stuff. Nepotism happens. Personal favorites happen. A lot of that happens. Is it right? No, probably not. But that's just how it is.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
If you could be endorsed by any brand, what would it be?
Jordan.
Like Nike.
And I just want to. I'll wear Nike gear all
top to
all
bottom.
Top to bottom.
Like you'd be like a hype beast.
Yeah.
Just straight dripping with Nike.
Yeah, dripping.
I like it. I'd be an Adidas guy.
Adidas?
I'd just be like, yeah.
You know, he was a Nazi.
Who, John Adidas?
I watched a story of Adidas and Puma. It was actually fascinating. They were two brothers.
Is that on Netflix? Yes.
Yeah, they were two brothers, and one became a Nazi sympathizer, and the other one wanted nothing to do with him.
Just wanted to be a tiger.
And he just wanted to be a tiger, man. And they split the companies. One became Puma, one became Adidas.
Any chance the Rusev Meltzer feud was a work, and Dave knew he was going to AEW?
No, it's not. Yes, and no. Right? Dave gets apparently something happened with Ryback. I have no idea what Ryback said.
Who cares?
By the way, imagine it's Ryback in the crew.
That would be phenomenal.
If Ryback's coming back,
feed me your. He's a guy. You know what? Like, he's one of those dudes that we always talk about how much we love pro wrestling and we love wrestlers that go out there and get it after they're done with WWE.
Yeah, he's one guy that didn't do it.
He's one of those guys that I'm all right. He's doing a podcast. He's got a bunch of shit going. Great, good for him.
But he didn't wrestle. He's not wrestling.
He did not wrestle.
Yeah, I don't know what he said, but the Rusev thing was interesting. I think a lot of these guys don't really follow Dave. I think Dave gets more shit than's deserved, to be honest. I think
it's all hearsay.
It's a lot of it is hearsay because they don't actually subscribe.
Exactly.
I also think a lot of people have misconceptions of him because of mistakes that he's made 20 years ago. Again, this is what it is, right? Like, you listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast or you listen to Bruce Pritchard's, they attack Dave on a lot of stuff that didn't come true, but it's not really Dave that's making it up. It's people telling him stuff. It's people stooging off and telling him stuff. And a lot of the times what happens is they tell him the truth and then things change.
You should do a podcast called In Defense of Dave.
In Defense of Dave? But by the way, there are tons of points that I don't agree with him on.
Right.
A lot of stuff. Like, I've been an Observer subscriber since 1998.
20 plus years,
22 years I've been an Observer subscriber. I don't agree with Dave on many of his takes. Right. But that's fine. I don't have to agree with him. It's his opinion, and you know what that does? It allows me to think about what my opinion is on something. And I'm able to base my opinion as a contrast to his, and that's fine. That's healthy. I don't want to agree with somebody all the time. That does nothing for me. I don't want to agree with them.
That's a good point. That's a great point, Andrew. And that's exactly what I think we fall into as a society of fans, where fans want to listen to something that doesn't make them think. And I think the Meltzer thing is a very peculiar beast because he's been around a lot longer than people give him credit for. I'm not defending the guy.
30-something years.
I'm not defending the guy, but I think there's a point, like you just said, I want to watch somebody who has my exact thoughts and thought process. This guy's not telling me what I like, right? And I think that's what drives people nuts. And it's also partially that the I heard culture. You know, like how many times you talk to somebody and you're like, holy shit, I've been watching this on Netflix or I read this book. Yeah. And then that other person may go, oh, well, I heard that wasn't great. So I didn't bother.
All the time. Yeah, you know, like I'll give you an example. I'm watching The Boys, right?
Yeah.
I like The Boys. I think it's a really good series. Someone's gonna take that clip. I know for a fact when I said I like The Boys. The Boys.
Well, Jonathan's in the chat room.
Jonathan's already working on this. I think it's a great show. I told somebody the other day, I'm like, oh, have you seen The Boys? It's back. He's like, I don't like that show. I'm like, why? He goes, it's stupid. Why? I watched the first episode, didn't get it. I go,
it's not stupid.
So you watched one episode of the entire first season, and you determined that the whole thing is stupid. I go, well, did you watch the second episode? Like, did this and this happen? He's like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, I know you don't because you only watched the first episode.
Right.
Like, it's fine. It's fine that it's not for you. But he was so like at me. He's like, the show sucks. It's stupid. I don't get it. Why is Superman bad? And why is this guy this? I'm like, dude, it's a very different show.
Womp womp.
I think what he wanted was like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I did not think the guy he's a little dull.
Okay.
The guy that said this to me.
Like up here?
Yeah. A little bit. Like he's very simple. He doesn't like his superheroes being complex. He likes good guys being good guys and bad guys being bad guys.
Right.
Dude, it's like that guy that hates us now. He's like, I used to love the show. Now you guys suck.
But he also never told us why we suck.
I know why. Because he hates AEW.
Really?
Yeah. So what happened with him.
You guys are unwatchable.
Is that we started talking about AEW and how we like certain things and it didn't fit his team.
Right.
Like, you know how many people I know, like, you know this, right? Grew up as a Mets fan, right?
Yeah.
Mets fan. You know how many Yankee fans will automatically become an asshole if you tell them that you're a fan?
Oh, 100%.
Tons, right?
Yeah.
They're like, you like the Mets? What are you, a loser?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's a fucking team. It's a sport.
I used to work in a comic book store in New Hyde Park, and one of who's I still see, like, I remember I told him I was a Mets fan, and they're like, why are you a big diehard Yankees guy?
Why are you a Mets fan?
Got his big gold cross with a Yankee pendant next to him.
Oh, God.
My brother-in-law has that too, but he's nice about
It's too much.
So, like, this dude, he's an older guy, he'll come in, and he'd be like, hey, I was wearing a Mets hat one day. He's like, what are you doing being a Mets fan? I was like, dude, I live 10 minutes from Shea Stadium.
Less than that, dude.
And
like, by train?
I'm like, there, you know? And he's like, yeah, but so what? I was like, where do you live? He's like, I grew up in Syosset. I'm like,
so you drive to the fan? You drive to the Yankee Stadium? No, I haven't gone to a game in 20 years.
Exactly. And I'm like, this is my home team. I'm close. Like, you live 17 hours away from Yankee Stadium. What's your deal? You know? But I'm not knocking Yankee fans, but I feel like you run into that weird, like, team mentality when it comes to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you may not be a Meltzer guy.
You may not be a Meltzer guy. That's fine, dude. You don't have to be. And I'm a nothing guy. I don't subscribe
to any man.
There's no man that I listen to for guidance like that. Like, I'm like, I have to, Dave said it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's one man. It's his opinion. People are flawed. People make mistakes. People misquote. It happens all the time. Like who you like. Don't like who you like. Like I like Sean. I love Sean. Sean Ross Sapp.
Yeah.
Great dude. I got a message from some guy talking about what a piece of crap he is. I don't, and his whole his whole thing was, I don't like his tone. Essentially, that's what it came down to. It wasn't even like he said this, he said that. He like gave this convoluted thing on how he doesn't like his tone without saying that.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, dude.
You want to take some more questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Corey Richmond asks, what do you think is the chance that NWA Primetime Live gets a plug on this Wednesday AEW Dynamite after Thunder Rosa title defense? I think by way of a plug, you're going to get JR saying, and you can check him out on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
Did Vince change his tune with Shayna? Are we at that question yet or no?
No, I got...
You're far back. Let's go down the list. Go.
When does Curtis Axel show up?
In AEW?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea if they're interested. I don't know.
I think Heath was saying that he wants Heath on Impact. He did a little bit where he said guys from WWE are calling him left and right to get a spot at Impact, and he really wants Curtis Axel to come over, but he's happy doing his own thing.
So I'm curious about Impact. Do these guys know something we don't?
Who?
Like the boys.
I think so.
Do you think they know
100%.
something that we don't know?
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you, I'm hearing a lot of rumblings about people wanting to go to Impact.
100%. I think they're going to get... I'm just what I think as a fan. I feel like they're primed to get a big investor. And I also think that the Gallows and Anderson being there is an interesting choice. And those are smart guys.
They're very money smart guys. Yeah.
Right.
So there's a reason for this. So I'm curious what it is. I wish I watched more Impact, and I think I'm gonna start doing that again. It's so hard with my schedule, with kids and work and shows and NXT, AEW, everything.
A lot of stuff. And plus your other stuff.
Yeah.
You do like 8 radio shows.
Fuck.
You do your Windows 95 show.
I do my Windows 95 show with Paul Thoreau.
You do you do your Linux show.
Yeah. The Red Hat Hour.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. The Red Hat Hour.
Okay, so let's go.
Axel show up. Let's see.
When does Sabu show up? From Jonathan.
Oh, I hope now.
Aaron Banks, thoughts on Vince calling Gerald Briscoe and letting him go? I mean, if you're going to fire somebody, that's the right way to do it.
I mean, they're doing cuts.
Do it on the
Briscoe
phone.
really wasn't hands-on. He was doing a lot of scouting, but like on the collegiate level. So
old school.
Yeah. So like I think he was doing that, and really, there's been a couple other people that have kind of taken over that role for him.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this guy, he had a very long career. Vince is you got to think about the relationship between Vince and the Briscoes, right?
Oh yeah.
Because the reason why Vince was able to get a slot on Turner when all that stuff happened was because the Briscoe, Gerald and his brother sold their shares to Vince. Or convinced everybody else. It was more of a coup that happened, and I think Vince was very loyal to Gerald Briscoe. Listen, at a certain point, you got to do business. It's not a charity to hire people.
Right.
You got to make a decision. Now, was it the right call? I don't know exactly his day-to-days at this point because he's stepped away for a little bit. I don't know if Pat Patterson's still getting paid. Maybe this guy is going to get paid for a while.
Well, here's the thing. I think people, like you were saying about the Vince McMahon bad guy, good guy thing, I think people don't really understand. Like, I'm sure part of that phone call was, hey, listen, we're going to have to let you go. Thank you for your however many years of service. By the way, we're going to put an extra $100K in your bank this year. Thank you.
We don't know. We don't know. And from what I know about Vince, he's done many things like that with people.
Exactly.
Tons of stuff.
Good severance packages. Like, I think Bubba and Devon, Bubba is a good example of, you know what? That's a guy who did it the right way. He'll never badmouth WWE because 4 times a year he'll get a video game check. That's like there's certain aspects of the business where like these guys are getting taken care of. Mox is another good example where I believe on the Jericho interview he said, I did it the right way. I left on my terms, and that also means that if somebody buys a Shield DVD across the world, I get 2 cents off of that DVD.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Let's see. Were you as disappointed as I was at AEW promoting the big breaking Cody news? Nah, it's TV. It's TV. Who cares?
It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
It's funny because Cody on that promo was dressed like Cody from Street Fighter.
He was.
Who ironically was done by Kenny Omega when that game came out.
Cody in Street Fighter is Cody from Final Fight?
Final Fight.
Is it?
Yeah. He's Mayor Cody and Street Fighter V. But Kenny was the Cody in the commercial promo for that
Yes,
game.
he was dressed up like Mayor Cody. Yeah.
But Cody was dressed like that Cody on the promo. It's very, very meta stuff.
Where's
right now.
Hagar?
Who do you think would be a good wrestling Mayor Hagar?
Rusev. Yeah. I don't know why I went with Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I just played this game, by the way.
Great game.
Yeah.
How do you think people thinking about signing with WWE are viewing the third party thing? I think it's a non-issue at this point. I don't think I don't think they're trying to sign anybody right now.
I got a question. How much money do you think Rusev was making on his Twitch stream? I just want people to be realistic. How much money do you think AJ Styles is making on his Twitch stream?
Well, apparently Paige is making six figures, close to six figures.
Close to six on her Twitch stream, or everything she's doing combined?
I want to say on her Twitch stream.
I gotta see what her numbers are, but that is
she's not on the road.
Well, I'll tell you
she's
right
got
now.
a lot of time on her hands. Same thing with Miro.
I'll tell you right now. Is it realistic? Yes, she could possibly do close to six figures on Twitch.
I'll say high five.
I was doing almost $1,000 a month on Twitch, and I just used this is when they were just in TV. Obviously, this is the infancy of it, but you're talking about $12K a year just coming from being on a service, not even making it my main. So yeah, I guess these guys can make some dough, but I don't know. I think for someone like Paige, are you gonna tell her that she can't do this? She can't wrestle.
Right.
She's under contract because she's an ambassador. You don't want to look like a fool letting her go. So, I don't know. All right, what else do we have?
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about esports in general? Do you get why people sit there and watch other people play video games?
You know what I love? I love like video game reviews, like videos of it.
Okay.
And I'm really into retro gaming right now.
Yeah.
Like tremendously into retro gaming.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm actually going to play the Mario, the All-Star release. Not the 3D All-Star that came out, which I believe
coming out next week.
Deacon's getting it next week. But I'll probably download it. But,
okay, me too. I'm pretty excited about it.
But I'm getting just the old school All-Stars got re-released on I guess their virtual console.
The subscription, yeah.
Yes, which I'm going to play today because it looks great.
That's what we're doing on Monday.
That's what yeah, okay.
It's pretty fantastic. We played a lot of Super Mario 3 on Monday. But my favorite part about that is that you can do the rewind.
Oh, yeah,
So when you die...
Just...
let's see.
And you know what? He does a Toriano when he dies. He goes like this.
Let's see. MG Geek, Mr. Gonzo. So right now, what are the 4 top matches at Mania? Men and women title matches or other? Roman Rock. Brock Drew 2. That's it. That's all I could think of.
Oh, let's talk about Bayley and Sasha.
Okay.
Their segment did 2.3 million views on Saturday, on Friday.
Great heel turn.
Very good heel turn. Very good heel turn. If you were to say, sometimes they just get it so right.
I have a point to make about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good reason for those numbers to be so high is that it wasn't just a quick heel turn like Cedric's, right?
Yeah.
It was an extended heel turn that kept going. So if I texted you, yo, put on Channel 5 right now and watch this, you would still be able to get up, put the TV on, and see the end of that beating.
Yeah.
Right? I think that helped a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like people were just like, holy shit, this is happening right now.
Because it went long.
It went long, and I think that's always a good thing to boost those numbers.
That's interesting. I never saw it that way. I never thought of that, but I think you're 100% right on that.
Thanks, bud. Let's see. Does Andrew want to sing Australian show tunes? I think that was Bob.
Brutal Bob.
Are you guys watching Cobra Kai? Season 1 was awesome. Haven't watched season 2.
How much of the AEW ratings be affected by running next Thursday versus the NBA Game 7 NFL Week 2? I don't know. Well, NFL starting next week is going to be really tough for WWE for Monday.
Absolutely.
That's going to be rough. Very rough.
People want that football.
Yeah. We'll see.
Does Ali have heat with WWE?
No, Ali does not have heat. They just don't know what to do with him. Let me say that again. They want to be careful with him because they feel like there is a lot of star power with him. They just cannot figure out how the hell to utilize him. Because you know where he falls into? That Cedric and Ricochet role in this company. Everybody falls in that role, and that's the problem. Everybody becomes like Cedric. Everybody becomes like all these mid-card guys, and they just stay in there, and they perpetually just live in that bubble.
The unfortunate mid-card bubble of WWE.
And you can't do anything to get out of it.
Unless you're R-Truth for some reason.
Unless you're R-Truth.
R-Truth can thrive and survive during anything.
And he doesn't care. He's making all that money. He doesn't need a freaking world title. The guy's living the dream. He's 40-something years old. He looks unbelievable.
Exactly. All right. Did you like that comedy bit on Monday? I didn't ask for no ninjas.
No, I didn't see it. I actually didn't see it.
Solus asks, any good shows or movies y'all would recommend? I need more to watch.
The Boys.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Hulu. Great. I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball lately.
Is that why you asked me who's my favorite character?
Vicky got into it because Dragon Ball Super is on demand now.
Yes, I gotta watch it.
She's like, I never watched this. She's watching me play Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Love that game.
And I was like, it's very wacky. I don't know if you like it. And we're 9 episodes in. Very excited about that.
Who's your favorite? Who's your character?
Vegeta.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Captain Ginyu.
Okay. You love Captain
Ginyu. Whatever. Goku, Trunks. I love all Gotenks.
Okay.
I love everybody.
I told you what my favorite is. It's Vegeta.
Yes.
And then I said something else to you.
It was nasty.
It was very mean.
It was very nasty.
Very nasty.
It was very dirty.
But involves Krillin.
Yes.
Watching.
Oh boy. I also would say Solus The Expanse is awesome on Amazon Prime if you like sci-fi. Let's see. Hang on. I'm losing my place here.
Sorry.
MLW is moving to Wednesday at 7.
Yeah, bad move, guys.
On the Fubo Sports Network. Is that real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, not great. This was out of their hands.
Okay.
They should not have moved to a Wednesday night. Already there's 2 shows. Who the hell's gonna watch that MLW over AEW and NXT?
Unfortunate. Aaron Banks, Rich and Andrew, will Stevie Richards be on the show again soon?
I could ask him.
What are his thoughts on wrestling?
He has a very unique look on wrestling. He's one of the few people in the business that's not a mark for himself. And I don't mean that like in a bad way, but he's very he sees wrestling with a very unique perspective, which I always love having. He was on right around WrestleMania, I believe he was on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was on during WrestleMania.
Yes.
So I'll have him on again. Always great to me. Always has been. He taught me a ton. So whenever Stevie wants to come on, he's more than welcome to.
We got another one from Solus. Dark Side of the Ring season 2 got added to Hulu. Are you gonna rewatch it? Probably not.
I may rewatch it again.
And are either of you getting into new video games lately as well?
Yes. So I like I said, I got really into the retro gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage 4 really like brought me back, and I bought a bunch of indie title beat 'em ups on the Nintendo Switch.
What'd you get?
I gotta get it. They're all like Final Fight and Streets of Rage clones.
Awesome.
I gotta get the names. Hold on, I'll tell you which ones. Best Nintendo Switch.
While he's looking this up, I've been playing. I beat Ghost of Tsushima on hard mode with English subtitles.
Yeah,
that was a fantastic journey. I'm playing Jotun on Switch. Streets of Rage 4 I haven't beat yet, and I think I'm gonna go. I know the PS5's dropping very soon, so there's nothing really that I want to buy in terms of games. But I think I'm gonna go back and play Until Dawn again, which was an awesome game, especially if you have somebody that lives with you. Great decision making game for PS4.
So Ninja Saviors is one that I got. I gotta get the other names here. Sorry, guys. I don't have them here. One is like Red Beat 'em Up.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch that I got. I download them. I gotta see the names here.
Might go back to Mario Odyssey too. Did you guys get Mario Odyssey?
Yes. I've never liked the 3D Marios.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
I like the side scroll. Like I like Mario Sunshine. I never got into.
I never beat it.
You never beat it. Did you like it?
I liked it. But at some point I remember putting it down years and years ago because the hose.
Streets of Red. That's the name.
Okay.
Streets of Red.
Because the hose was too stupid.
Okay. Got it.
But you know what? I forgot the name of this. If anybody, the name of this game. But if anybody in the chat room can help me out, there's a game that came out for Switch that had a sanity meter, and the more you progressed, like if you went insane in the game, you'd start having like these hallucinations. But then if your mind broke, it was game over.
Oh, really? What game is that?
I forgot the name of the game, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope even though I forgot the name of the game, I would like a re-release of that.
PS5 or Xbox S? PS5 over the Xbox S, but
Mm-hmm.
the Xbox Series X is the one to get. That's the one I'm going to get.
Okay. Any more questions, guys?
Deadly Premonitions, is that it?
I don't think so.
Indigo Prophecy?
No.
Shin with a list of all these games.
It was a female protagonist. It wasn't Deadly Premonition.
The boys clip is on Twitter, by the way. Yeah, dude, I'm just playing a couple things.
Eternal Darkness.
Okay.
Sanity's Requiem. Fantastic game.
Very cool.
Let's see. Oh, we forgot to talk about how do you feel about Finn Balor's win?
How do we forget to talk about that?
I know.
Christ.
We talked about the match.
We did talk about the match. I think it's great. I think Finn having the title is good for NXT. I don't know what this means for Adam Cole.
Okay.
Does he go up?
Retribution.
I mean, do you bring him up? I don't know. I don't know what the story, but they embraced each other at the end. Backstage,
got
they
the backstage
two-sweeted backstage. You know, they did the whole thing. So it looks like they positioned him as a face at this point. You know, were the opponent, and he lost, and I don't know what they do with him. I'm very curious as to that.
How long do you see him holding on to that title, and what do you think his feud's gonna? That's my question from Rich in the chat.
What is it? What is
How long do you see him holding that title, and what's his next major feud?
Well, obviously it's going to go to Caden Cross, right? When he comes back.
Who's
Karrion Cross?
Who's Caden Cross, Andrew?
Caden Cross is a porn star, I think, right? Isn't Caden Cross a porn star?
I think so.
Karrion Cross.
Oh, I called all those numbers you gave me yesterday.
All the porn numbers I gave you?
I was like, hello?
Hello? Is that you?
Is that you? All right, goodbye.
Tori, is that you?
Andrew says you're an asshole. That's the voice I use too. When I talk to women on the phone, that's the voice I use.
Yeah, Caden Cross is a porn star, yes. Karrion Cross, they all have weird porn star names, if you notice that. Like Sasha Banks.
Yes.
Sasha Banks is like the worst non-porn name.
Jeff Daddy.
Bailey. Just Bailey.
I feel like if it was what last name would you give her?
Donna.
Bailey Donna?
Yeah.
I feel like it would have to be like like Bailey Monroe or something like that.
Something stupid.
Bailey Tomati.
Would you guys consider doing a Twitch channel playing video games? Yeah, I would love to do that.
Hell yeah.
Rich and I should do that.
Let's
we
do
should
it.
play a game. I have it already set up. We have GFQ Gaming set up, and we have the GFQ Twitch channel already.
Oh, if you sat here and we did it there,
yeah,
forget it.
Well, I wonder if we can move the couch.
I'll move the couch here?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
We can move the couch there.
And then we'll do a little, let's do Streets of Rage.
We could do Streets of Rage.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Any 2-player game would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I love that's a great game.
Let's do it. Twitchmen.
Twitchmen. Tony Hawk Remaster. People want us to play Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I never played those games.
Oh, I was going to say, like, no offense to anybody, but I'm pretty sure I would rock anybody's world in Tony Hawk.
In Tony Hawk?
Yeah.
I never played them.
Tony Hawk 2 and 3, like, I was legit unbeatable. House party, unbeatable.
So I asked this question online, and then we could wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
But what age were you when you first started playing video games? That you could actually play a video game?
There's two parts to this because
Okay.
I shared this with Vicky the other day. When I was a kid, when I was like a little, my cousin in Staten Island had a Nintendo, and everybody was over the house for like some party, and they wouldn't let me play. But I was like maybe like 5 or 6.
Okay.
So I was just like, yeah, wah. I would say probably like 8 or 9 at the arcade Entertainment World in Flushing, and it was the Double Dragon arcade game, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Very cool.
And that was like also the first time I felt like quarter remorse.
Oh,
the immediate died.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that was it. And then I remember getting that game a couple of years later when they released it on NES and being disappointed
that it wasn't the same game.
that it didn't look like the arcade game.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was probably 5. I'm trying to think. I
Okay.
remember playing when I was 4, but I was probably 5 when it really happened. Yeah, 5 years old, Mario. And then I got in, I went from there. But Double Dragon, I played Double Dragon 2 before Double Dragon, and then I got Double Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
2 was so much better than the first one.
Yeah.
But have you gone back to play it now? It's so slow.
Yes.
Even Super Double Dragon, the one on the SE, on the SNES.
The SNES.
The SNES, that was supposed to be really like a big deal.
Yeah.
It sucked. It was just way too slow. The game would look like it was developed with the same, like, as if it was supposed to be for the NES, because it was an early title.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so slow. You know what I hated? Battletoads. Hated Battletoads.
I really enjoyed Battletoads.
Never liked it. Never got it.
It was such a weird game.
They creeped me out, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a turtle guy?
I was a turtle guy.
Yeah.
I don't want fucking frogs.
I really love
What am I?
Battletoads.
These goddamn amphibians.
Best wrestling game.
Best wrestling game? No Mercy.
Really?
Yeah.
See, big fan of WrestleMania 2000.
Same game. I mean, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000.
All those THQ games. Really big fan of the second SmackDown game for PS1.
Know Your Role, Shut Your Mouth?
I think so.
Here Comes the Pain was really good.
And
that was probably my favorite one.
Here Comes the Pain was awesome. SmackDown Raw 2006 to 2007, very good.
They're all the same though now. Right?
The PS4 ones are very hit or miss.
Well, the last one, 2K20 sucked, right? That's the story? We're still sticking to this, that it was terrible? 2K20?
Yeah.
Like,
terrible.
Really bad?
Very glitchy.
Yeah, because what happened, they changed their developer.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the team that was doing it, and these guys started from scratch, and it looks like shit. It looks like it's from 10 years ago. Like, there are certain games from 10 years ago that look better than that. 2K18 was good. That was okay.
People are saying that we should play Fall Guys if we do.
What is Fall Guys? Let's see.
I'm not a fan.
What is it? It's a game?
It's hard to describe, yeah.
What is this? Birds? What is this guy? Chicken? They're like ghosts? What is this? What am I looking at here?
It's you're playing as like floppy dudes. I would much rather play Smash Brothers.
You're playing as floppy dude. It's like a battle royale game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about those battle royales, like Smash Brothers and stuff
really?
like that. Yeah, Smash Brothers doesn't. Everybody talks about it. Never did it for me.
What does it for you? Side scrollers, retro games.
Love side scrollers. Love retro games. I could play like Street Fighter, the Dragon Ball Z game. I love.
Fantastic.
I love fighting games. This game is weird.
You want to take one more wrestling related question?
Yeah.
What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the price point for the NWA weekly pay-per-views?
How much are they?
I'm not sure.
They were cheap.
$6? I don't know.
I don't know. What do we have the number? I forgot what it was.
Let's see. NWA pay-per-view price.
I forgot the price of it.
$19.99.
No.
Yeah.
Really? That's high, man. That can't be. $20?
Oh wait.
A week?
Wait a sec. Hang on.
Can't be.
This is like from no.
Or for $23.99. So 4 shows for.
That's fine.
It's okay. Yeah, it's $5 a show. Not bad. It's not bad. I think that's fine. You got to have it around a couple bucks. You know, you can't have more than that. Like I'll buy a couple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but am I going to do it every week? Probably not. Not because I don't want to justify spending it, just because I don't want to pay for something. You know, like
right.
Just the thought process of I got to buy it now.
Right.
$11.99 in demand.
I think it's different. Like the automatic pay structure for the network
works.
That $10 a month, where you're like, how many times do I come here and you're watching the network?
Every day it's on.
And
something is on every day.
$10 a month.
Yeah.
And you're basically paying like 20 cents a day to watch it.
By the way, WWE has fired the entire live event staff.
Ugh.
Is that coming out now? So, I mean, this kind of goes back to the concept that WWE's not going to be going back to a touring brand like they were. I think one positive from this whole thing has been that they've learned that they were not making any money.
Do they need that live show tour circuit? Do the guys still make as much money as they used to on that live show tour circuit?
There was no money on the live show tour circuit. They were practically breaking even on that.
The guys.
What, the wrestlers?
Yeah.
No, the wrestlers made some money.
Okay.
Yeah, the wrestlers made money, but I'm saying as the company did not make money from it. So what they should do, the reality is, do one big show for each brand. So now, and also TV's not, you don't need to do as many shows because you have TV every day.
Right.
You got Monday Night Raw. So you got Tuesday to NXT. and have them tour. Have NXT tour on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, you could take off. Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, you got, whatever. What is happening here? Nobody's watching
I think
anybody.
it's the ghost.
I know, but like, I can't do a show without somebody banging on this door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when Andrew goes to do a show, it becomes, well, and we can do whatever we want back here because there's a door.
Daddy's gone.
Daddy's gone. So
Well, you have to do the daddy's busy shirt.
Daddy's busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You need a light that goes on, like an on-air light that goes on outside the door.
Yeah.
So that when the red light's on, that means be quiet.
And now my boss is calling me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
So,
you're not having a good day today, are you?
I'm having a fucking long ass day,
Sorry,
man.
man.
And I gotta wrap it up.
I hope
anyway.
that coffee helped.
The coffee was tremendous.
I put a
Thank
little
you.
cocaine in it.
Oh, I'm so glad, man.
Just
helped.
I had a little extra.
Helped. Allegedly. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. We'll see you all next week. A lot of stuff going on. I'm sure if you want to follow us on Twitter at MatMen Podcast. Subscribe to us. We're everywhere podcasts are available. BTC Rich on Twitter, at Andrew Zarian on Twitter. MatMen Podcast on Instagram. Guys, we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
So follow us on Instagram. Posting there daily, twice a day. Just, doing a little bit of everything. And we'll be on Twitter. I'm sure we'll be talking about the releases coming up. But we'll see you all next time, guys.
Later.
Take care.
Mwah.